Hi fam, welcome back to my channel. In just a few minutes I want to show you how I made this beautiful and elegant top, as you can see here on your screen. Now I know that this looks very difficult, but trust me, it is actually very beginner friendly, and it is one of the easiest styles that you can make, and it is suitable for any occasion. So if this is what you're interested in, then let's get started. So here are the fabrics that I'm using. Okay, this is the lemon is the main fabric, and then this other one is the lining piece. So I had this lining piece at home, and this is what I'm going to be using. Okay, so just if you're making yours, to try to get the lining that matches with the color of the fabric that you want. So we're going to go ahead and draft the pattern, as you can see here. So I'm just going to open up the pattern paper like this. Just open it up. And after I open it up, from the top, I'm going to mark 1 inch all the way around. Okay, we're going to mark 1 inch. And then after we mark, we're going to connect this 1 inch. Okay, just go ahead and connect. This is what we're going to use for the neck extension. And I'm going to just straighten out this side as well, because as you can see, it's not looking straight. So just going to go ahead and straighten it out. So that's it. So the next thing we're going to do is to mark 5 inches. Okay, on the center front, we're going to mark 5 inches all the way to the top, and then we're going to connect it downwards like this all the way to the top. 5 inches is what we're marking all the way down. All right, so after we've done this, the next thing we're going to do is to divide your shoulder. You're going to start your measurement from this point, divide your shoulder by 2. Now on the style is a called together sleeve, but I don't want to do that. But if you want to do that pattern, all you're going to do is, after you divide your shoulder by 2, then you add the inches that you want the sleeve to be, like the sleeve length. So after your shoulder divided by 2, then you add however long you want your cut together sleeve to be for. But for me, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cut my sleeve separately, because I'm going to be wearing it to church and to work. Okay, so I've marked my shoulder divided by 2, which is 8 inches, and then I've marked my neck width of 3.5 inches. On this point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'm going to mark that, and I'm going to connect that there. So afterwards, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my vertical measurements. I'm going to take from my shoulder to my chest line at 9 inches, and I'm going to mark. Then next, I'm going to mark my shoulder to bust point 11, shoulder to under bust 14, then shoulder to waist 18. Normally, I mark my shoulder to waist at 17 inches, but I marked 18 inches here, and I don't even know why I did that. I just wanted to try something new, but it came out pretty well too. Next, on the chest line, I'm going to mark the same 8 inches that I marked on my shoulder line. I'm going to mark it. This is to enable me create a straight line across this point like this. And then you're going to get the midpoint, and from that midpoint, you're going to come in by 1/2 inch and mark. Next, on the chest line, I'm going to divide my bust circumference by 4 and mark that there. So afterwards, I'm going to use my curved rule like this to create my armhole curve. So next, on this 1 inch that we came up by, I'm going to connect my neck extension. As you can see, I just slanted it a bit, and then I'm going to use the curved part to connect it like this, okay, just to create that neckline. Next, we're going to divide the rest of the shoulder into 2, and we're going to mark that point, okay. Then after we mark it, I'm going to mark 1 inch, okay, or 0.7 inch, just to create that shoulder that we have there. And it's not going to go all the way to the chest line. I came down by 3 inches. I'm coming down by 3 inches here, and I'm going to connect it like this. Later on, when I'm sewing, I'm going to be sewing 6 inches, okay, because the allowance will be made. So we're going to extend that 1 inch outwards, or 0.7 inch if it is 0.7 inch you're adding, and then connect this back to the armhole like this, okay. So we're not going to be going with this one again. So afterwards, on this 5 inches that we marked earlier, I'm going to mark 4 inches on the waistline, and then on the hemline as well, I'm going to mark the same 4 inches. And after I've done that, we're going to connect these 2 lines together, okay. And then on the chest line as well, we're going to mark the same 4 inches, as you can see, and then I'm going to connect it to the neckline with the curved part of the rule. As I've placed it like this, I'm going to connect it back and then connect it this way, okay. You can decide to make yours straight if you want. It will still come out well. So just go ahead and do what works for you. So I'm just going to blend this out. Remember that it has like a little round effect on the bust area. So next, we're going to place all our body circumference measurements on my under bust. I'm going to divide my under bust by 4 under bust circumference by 4 and add 1 inch sewing allowance, 1.5 inches sewing allowance. And you're going to do that for your hip line, your chest, and your waistline. Okay, so after you've done that, the next thing you're going to do is to connect all the points together. On the hip to the hem, this is how I placed my curved rule, and I connected it like this. So now next on my waistline, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch. Okay, because I just want to like make that part a little curvy. So I'm just going to connect it back to the hip line as you see. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and cut off the excess as you see me doing. So just watch closely and check all the parts that we're cutting. Okay, so you don't cut where you actually need. Okay, I hope that this tutorial is not too rushed, and I hope that you're paying attention. So this is what we have. So next we're going to draft the back, and we're going to repeat all the process. Okay, the 1 inch at the top first, and then for the back we're not going to be adding the 5 inches at the center, because we're just going to go up. For the back, you can see how I've created the neck as well. And then just go ahead and mark your waistline, your chest, and every other thing just the way we did for the front pattern. Okay, so just go ahead and repeat all of the process. So this is it. So the next thing I'm going to do is to just fold the fabric into two, place it on, and then we're going to go ahead and cut the rest of the pattern. As you can see, you're just going to go ahead and then cut it open, as you can see. So now I'm going to add 2 inches to my hemline because it wasn't long enough for me. Okay, I wanted it to be much longer. You can decide to just leave yours like that if that is what you prefer. But I wanted it to go a bit below my knee, below my hip rather, and that is what I've done. So next I've placed it on the lining piece, and then we're going to go ahead and do exactly the same thing that we've done for the main piece. Okay, so just place your lining like this. Please note that it's on fold, and then go ahead and do that. So next we're going to mark 1 inch. Okay, on the lining piece we're going to mark 1 inch, and we're going to connect that 1 inch and then cut it off. All right, we're going to cut it off. So when we join, the lining is going to like go inwards. It's not going to show at the hemline. So we're going to do the same thing for the front part as well. All right, so we're going to just mark and then cut that 1 inch, and then on the front part I added 1/2 inch to the front part, okay, for the joining allowance at the front there. I'm going to be joining it with the lining, so I added 1/2 inch allowance. So go ahead and then do that, and that is it for the front pattern as well. So we're going to place this also on the lining piece and cut as you see me doing. Okay, so just go ahead and do that. So just go ahead and just cut everything out as you can see. So that's it for the front as well. So we're also going to take out that 1 inch just as we did for the back. I'm going to mark that 1 inch off, and then I took out the 1/2 inch in front as well. As you can see, I took out the 1/2 inch. Okay, you don't have to do that. Okay, if you're a beginner, please do not do that. Just go ahead and then cut your lining piece and continue from there. So this is all I had left for the sleeve. As you can see, it's quite small, but I'm just going to make you I'm just going to have to make it work. So you can see I made this part a little bit deeper. Okay, if it's not enough for you next time, just make the curve part a bit deeper on your sleeve, and that's it. So these are all the pieces. So let's go ahead and start. So this is the lining piece, and then what you're going to do is to open it up like this, okay, and then place the lining piece on the main fabric, or the main fabric on the lining piece, right sides facing each other, and then you're going to start joining. Okay, so you're going to join the bottom part first by 1/2 inch or 0.2 inch, and then join this other side as well. Okay, so I'm going to take my shoulder dart after I've joined everything together. So this is it, as you can see. So I've joined all the sides and all the lining piece together. Can you see how it looks? So this is, I'm going to turn it. So this is the front part. This is what it looks like. Can you see how simple it is to, because I'm going to use this pen to just mark out my that it's an erasable pen. So once you put your iron on it, it just goes off. Okay, you can get it if you like to just get it. It makes your work very easy. So we're going to mark the shoulder dart here. Remember, it was 3 inches depth I added. Okay, but when I'm sewing, I'm going to be sewing 6 inches or 5 inches. So you can do that, or you can make it lesser or longer if you want. Okay, so I'm going to be doing, I did 3 inches at first, but it wasn't working well, so I made mine 6 inches long. So the next thing we're going to be creating is the design that we have in front. So I'm just going to mark 1.5 inches. All right, 1.5 inches, which is what I'm going to be using to mark the design. Then the length is 5 inches. All right, so I'm going to be using 5 inches for the length, and I'm going to just go ahead now and cut off the excess, as you can see. So this is what it looks like: 1.5 inches in the length, 5 inches. So just join all the sides together. I join all the sides together and I've turned it, and then I press it. So this is what I have. Okay, so after I've joined it, what I have now is 4 inches, and then we're going to join it to this side. Okay, make sure you come down by 6 inches. Okay, come down by 6 inches, and then place it as you see me pinning, and then you stitch all the way round it. You can even decide to gum it if you don't want to stitch it. It will still come out well, but I decided to just stitch mine down. All right, so this is it after I've stitched it down. Please note to come down by 6 inches or 5 inches. So next we're going to join the sides together. All right, so just go ahead and join the sides together. Can you see how simple this looks? It is actually very simple. Okay, so here I've joined the shoulders, and please make sure that your darts align. Okay, mine didn't align as I wanted it to be, but it's still fine. So next we're going to fix the shoulders by pinning them down like this. So you're just going to pin it down. You get the center, you place center to center the shoulder line, then you pinned it all the way around, and then join together. So you can see join together by 1/2 inch, and join the sides by 1 inch allowance that we added. So after that, the next thing we're going to work on is the belt. All right, so the belt holder that I'm using is 0.7 inch, and that is what I'm going to be working with. Okay, if you have a bigger belt holder, you can go ahead and then do that. But for me, what I had was 0.7, so that is what I'm going to be working with. So I marked 2.5 inches here, and that is what I'm going to use. As you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and then cut it open as you see me doing. Just go ahead and do that. So this is what I have. Okay, it's quite small. I was just trying to work with the fabrics that I had left. I forgot to mention at the beginning part that the quantity of the material I used was 2 inches, which I really managed to do. So after everything, I've turned it to the right side, ironed it, and then fixed it on the head like this. And on this point like this, you're just going to fold this like this a little bit and stitch down. Okay, just stitch down, just a little stitch. Okay, so I fixed the band. So what you want to do is just once you pass it through, you turn it and then you stitch down. So next I'm going to fix the buttons. Okay, so just go ahead and then fix the buttons the way that you want to fix it. So this is how I'm going to be fixing mine. As you can see, just going to go ahead and then stitch it down. Okay, just stitch them down, whichever button that you're using, and that's basically it. So let's go ahead and try out the dress. So this is the dress. This is the top, as you can see. So if you're yet to see the tutorial on how I made the skirt, the link is in the link is in the description. You can check it out. So what do you think, guys? Are you going to be rocking this style, the skirt and the top? It's a beautiful skirt style for any occasion, whether you want to wear it to church or to workplace. Trust me, you're going to be standing out the whole of the day. So this is what we have here. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.